Oh, good. You?
Good, good. All right, we are live. I'm going to go live on Instagram now.
Okay.
We are live on Instagram as well. Success! Yay! All right. Well,
Perfect.
welcome everyone to start the week with Spencer without Spencer,
But with Susanna.
but with Susanna. Exactly right. So today, Spencer is in India, seeing families there with our team. We go to India. Is it, I think, twice a year? Twice a year. Yes. So we see families in India twice a year. We see them in Bangalore and in Delhi. So if anyone here is tuning in from India, or even it's closer to get to India than it is to come and see us in Philadelphia or in Italy, please reach out because we do see families there in person. We have very adept clinicians there. Our nutrition director, Dr. Bagata, is there. So it's a great opportunity for our families in that region to see our team in person. So today, as a special treat, we have Susanna Horn, Susanna de Castro Horn. Susanna is one of our senior clinicians. Susanna is also a veteran of the Doman Method program. As a mother, she has two amazing children who are very much not children anymore.
No, they're not anymore, but they're
But
my children.
that's right. And they are tremendous people, super cool twins, David and Victoria. And I thought it would be a nice treat for our families, tuning in for us to talk to Susanna today about, a little of her history with the Doman Method, what that's been like for her family, as well as all of the work that she's been doing with families of kids with special needs for all of these years now. So, and I feel like maybe this wasn't. Sometimes parents will ask me, "Oh, what is the background of your do you have therapists and doctors and things?" I say, well, yes, of course we have doctors and people with a background of specifically they were going to work with kids with special needs, and then we also have incredibly skilled clinicians who came to it by a different road, but are really expert in coaching parents. So I thought we could talk about that. So welcome,
Yes.
Susanna. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So yeah, tell us a
I
little bit about how you got started.
well, I married an American in Rome, but then we transferred to Philadelphia. And there we got to know the institutes. And there I started when my children were 3. I started the program with them. They were already bilingual because at home we spoke Italian. And don't let anybody tell you that children get confused
Susanna, it's the phone. I'm sure it'll come back. I know you were starting to say, "Don't let anyone tell you that children get confused with two languages," because of course that is very much not true, and that is one of those myths that continues to proliferate. Parents are told all the time, especially if their children are having issues with
here.
speech. Susanna, you're back. Yay.
I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
back.
back.
Almost. I don't know what happened to this video.
Oh,
Do
could
you
you
see
hear us?
me?
Yeah, see you fine.
Because I see just a little tiny thing.
Oh, no, you
Anyway,
you look fine. We can see you 100%.
okay. So, yes, exactly. I kept hearing your voice,
Okay.
and it's exactly what I'm going to say. Um, Definitely. So, and then my kids continue to be on, you know, on the program, and then in the school with Spencer, Morgan, and all the Doman's kids. Um, how you say, went to school, and even Colleen, right?
Well, I was a teacher. I was teaching them.
Yes, you were
Yes,
teaching them
yeah,
violin,
but we were all
exactly. And
together.
not only violin, if I recall well.
It's true. Yeah, violin, but also I was involved with a lot of other classes, writing, Shakespeare, anything else that was music,
And
helped
by
out
the
in
way, I
Japanese.
taught them too when they were in school because I was one of the art teachers. Because
Yes.
actually, this is my background, art, and not history of art, not apply art. But this is what I was teaching them when they were in the school. So anyway, this is my background, and then when the Doman International was found, I was invited to be here and work with all the Doman family and other fantastic people, and that's it. We got I got pleasantly, um, you know, um, this is what I love to work with children. So this is what I do best, even though I didn't abandon my art background. But yes, definitely, this is what I I do every single day and love it. That's all.
Well, and it is an art in a
It
way.
is an art
Yeah.
because you need to be really creative to adapt all the programs that we have to any child that presents you, and it's even with the same kind of same, um, you know, uh, how you say,
Like the
e-
diagnosis or issue, or
diagnosis
yeah.
or symptoms. We do what we really do is to modify every single program to the child so it will progress the best way possible. So this is what we do. I do,
Yeah.
and it is an art, and you need to be very, very creative to do that. It's one of the things. I at least for what I do, because my field is cognitive, sensory, language, social, all the social aspect from behavior to, uh, participating and getting a job and so on and on. So this is what. So. Um,
Excellent. Yeah. Well, and the the cognitive portion of our program, I think, is the one that it feels like most families, if they've heard of us before, and this is just in my experience talking to parents who are coming to Doman International for the first time, reaching out for the first time. There are a lot of families who have heard about our reading program, so they think, oh, well, you teach children to read, which is, well, not strictly true. We teach their parents how to teach them to read, but uh,
it's
but
true.
but that's one aspect of what we do. But it does tend to bring people in, which is really, really great. I love that. But I also love telling parents that there is so much more involved. Um,
Oh yeah.
I'm curious to know, in your coaching, um, what do you feel is the most exciting part of it for parents when you're teaching them like a cognitive program? Is it reading? Is it math? Is it Doman cards? Were there things, or are parents kind of like, I don't know if this is really going to work, but I guess we'll try?
Yeah, well, yes, you have those parents too. I'll do it, but I don't know if it works. It depends on what kind of child. Of course, if the child is around 2.5, and we have to teach, even older, by the way, but we have to teach parents how to teach the child to read, that it's very exciting because we know that that child will definitely go home and in no time recognize words and going around the house and reading little words if mom leave them around, and that is what happens, and what happened to me when my kids learned to read. And so, Colleen, also your kid,
True, true.
probably.
And me?
And
Yeah.
you, exactly, exactly. On the other hand, there are some programs that I love to do. And look, I love to do all the programs because each one has aspects that involve the development of a child that really, if you can speed up doing these programs, definitely. But there are some sensory programs like the programs for blind children that have a cortical blindness.
Mhm.
That is one of my favorite one to teach because I usually then see the child get better and better and see more and more, and for the parents and see those, you know results, and the face of the parent when the child recognize or differentiates two images is priceless. I have to say it's one of the most rewarding thing for me. And of course, seeing a child not only recognize images but differentiate words, or doing quantity math with quantity cards with all those dots and recognizing and being, 55 or 54 dots on a card. Who knows how they do, but they do it. So it, every single program that I teach gives me such a pleasure, and rewards that I really, besides the one for blind children, it is the most amazing thing I teach.
Yeah.
So I this is what I you know this is what I think. It's unbelievably rewarding. So
Yeah.
um, go ahead.
No, no, no. I just it's I love hearing our staff talking about the yeah, those rewarding moments, but because those rewarding moments happen frequently, that there are changes, and to help families reach those points where for many of them they've been told, just kind of give up. You're not going to get
Yeah.
that. You're never going to have your child responding to your smile. They're not going to recognize grandma, or um and to change that, and yeah, to be able to see that happening in front of you. It's amazing.
Yes, exactly. And also that same child that will recognize grandma and grandpa, and that same child will learn to read. So it's just the first step going forward to amazingly, uh, you know, give this person the possibility that everyone said, no, he will never see. Uh,
Right.
reading, you kidding, right? And
Yeah.
and we do that. And it's just the most it's one of the, I'm saying probably it's one of the best thing that you can all ever, um, you know, witness. This is for me.
I wonder sometimes, parents are told, oh, you should, the assumption is that it's better for the parents to be told you should just kind of give up.
Give
They
up.
don't use those words, but they might say, well, adjust your expectations or accept your child for who they are, and these kinds of things. And I think, why is it so easy for people in certain positions to assume the worst but not to assume the best? And then when parents come back and say, hey, my kid is doing these things, they're like, well, some kind of miracle or something. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it was just
It's not
steady
hard
work.
work.
That's
Yeah.
right. Just, yeah.
It's not hard work
Yeah.
from the parent and from the child.
Yeah.
But why? Because first of all, is ignorance in the sense that they don't know. I'm not saying that they are ignorant, they didn't study or anything. They don't know our work, or they
Right.
don't, and who knows it doesn't really believe in it, and or they believe that parents cannot make it because it is work that you have to do at home every day in and day out. But I mean, as a mom of two well kids, I did this day in and day out, and the
Yeah.
results were rewarding, and see them loving reading and loving learning. I don't I don't know what else to do think. Some kids love learning anyway, and I know that. But why not to speed up that process if the child is well? If the child is hurt, then we need to speed up because they need to regain the time lost compared to their peers.
Yes.
And usually, what we do is we have these children that are even above age level when we talk about reading, when we talk about math. Not all of them, but the majority, yes. And this is our job. So they are, because they are disadvantaged in a way, we make them better so they can, compete on the same level of their peers.
Yes.
And it's what we do. And it's our job to do that so they won't left behind.
Yeah. That's exactly
So
right.
so this is our mission, really. My mission, our mission,
Yeah.
it is or if you talk to every single person at Doman International, our staff, and the staff, the not only the clinical staff, the administrative staff too, they believe in this, and they do anything possible to make it happen.
Yes.
So that's it.
And at this point, we have 70 years of experience. And I feel, um, of course, and we tell everyone this, and it is the truth. We wish we could make guarantees of the kinds of changes that you'll expect to see, and nobody can. We can't guarantee anything, but we can, based on all of these years of experience, and our clinical team has so many years of experience, we can tell families, very honestly, we have creative ways of helping. If your child is, for some reason, parents are always worried, my child will be the one that doesn't respond to what you recommend, right? Of course, they say it'll
Okay,
be my kid.
yes, yes, that's true. What I usually say, I can't tell you if your child will be completely well or your child will, you know. graduate from our program and run and jump and do somersaults. I can't say that because I don't have the magic, sphere, the magic ball. But what I know for sure that the life of that child will be, the quality of life will be much, much, much better than before the program, that it's worth it to invest time and money on it. That for sure. This is what I can guarantee that.
Yeah.
At which level, I don't know, but I know because I know each single child improved a lot. And if even if you don't do the program, you will look and see your child in a complete different way with their real how you say intelligence and
Potential and capability.
potential,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
there in front of you. And that it, I think that it's worth anything, really. And not looking at your child like, okay, you are one of those people with no future, nothing left. And it is what usually doctors and therapists and, you know, people that work in the field will tell you, and we don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
we, we just don't do
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. I feel, I spent so many years really just involved with the neurotypical kid side of things. Um, and I feel that way that obviously I'm really passionate about what I'm doing now. I love talking to families of kids with special needs, because then I can tell them, hey, we do have answers, we do have hope, we do have real, and it's not anything magical or woo woo. It's real and step by step. And yeah, there's work, but as you say, it completely alters your perspective and your perception of your child's real possibilities. I think the families who find us, they always had that hope. That's why they kept looking, of
yeah,
course.
yeah,
Um,
they want that.
that's right.
They
Yes,
look for that hope.
yes,
They look for people like us that tells them, you know what, you can do it.
yeah,
He or she can do it,
yes,
and we together can help.
yes,
So
exactly.
definitely that
Yeah,
is the most, and it's one of the things that we see, and the enthusiasm that the parents have after talking to us and the coming here for appointments, that is it's it's I don't know. I don't have words. It's what we are looking for, because we know that those parents will go home, do the program, come back and see incredible, amazing progress for their kids.
yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah,
and it can happen in 2 months, can happen in 15 days, can happen in 2 years. We don't know when. And by the way, even the ones that don't have this explosive progress that you really see immediately, we do have, you know, in 2 years we see a a progress that slowly but surely goes up and up and
yes,
up and up.
yes,
So, because each child is different, that can happen, you know, explosively because you change so many things all at once. So you change a little bit of the diet, you change a little bit of what the child does physiologically, going to bed earlier, um, and you know, start moving that brings more oxygen to the brain, doing some of our programs that brings more oxygen to the brain. Wow, it's a complete different kid
Yeah.
in 15 days. And we have a lot of these cases. Actually, this morning, I opened my emails, and one of the moms that came in Italy for their first appointment
Hmm.
said that their child looks much calmer now. Well, it is not even a
A
week.
week.
They just a week, and they just started to implementing the diet. And mom said, "Is that the diet or what?" So, well, you're telling me.
Yeah.
I so this is what we see consistently. You change one thing and the child is a different kid.
Hmm.
Doesn't jump on the wall anymore. And
Yeah.
believe me, it was jumping on the walls. So
Yeah, that's something I also tell parents a lot. They'll be nervous, if their child is extremely hyperactive or or acts out in other ways. They say, "Oh, if I bring him in," I said, "Believe me, our staff have seen all of it." Spencer has
we
told
know
stories about being whacked or punched by kids. He's like, "Well,
it happened,
it happens."
happened, not often, but happens.
Yeah.
And and we also have, for these children, we also have a few programs that we call social. So gently we correct their behavior that sometimes, often, they can't really control it.
Right.
So we act on all sides: the diet, the the oxygenation of the brain, the socially learning to control the impulses that they have, and the reading, the physical program, the mobility programs, etc. We do this at unison, and so the child changes all in all aspect, not just mobility or language or diet, without any other connection to all the other parts of the development of a child.
Yeah.
So it is so important to get the whole picture, for when you raise a baby. Okay, you give this baby everything. You give them food, love, possibility to move, possibility to learn, and opportunity to speak. It it and you also give them the the you know you raise the child saying, this is what you can do and this is what you can't do. And so socially you make this child advance. We do that the same, but we do it all at once for children that didn't have the opportunity to grow in unison, all those aspects.
Yeah.
And we recreate that going back and see if the child can move. We make him move as a child that should have moved when they were born, from the moment they're born, or learn to see, learn to hear, and so on and on. So we go step by step on all directions.
Exactly. And that's like anybody, that's the only way you get anywhere, step by step by step. You just have to know what the steps are, right?
And if the child can't do that, we create programs that so they can learn to do it. And this is what we do, mobility wise, or vision wise, or auditorially, or language wise. It's just what we do all the time with each child. And we, modify, as I said at the beginning, we modify these programs for your child. It is a general program that every single time a family and a child and parents sit in front of me when I speak to them, it's what I do. I modify the program for that child. And and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, and I
so
think that's where we see the differences that other people don't.
yes, yes.
So I
And
want to.
my
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
go ahead.
No,
Go
no, I
ahead.
was just going to say I want to go to some. We have some questions coming in. I do want to
Go ahead.
remind parents that we have open question time. So please, we're enjoying the conversation, but
No,
please
go
add your
ahead.
questions. Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
I'm here for that.
Okay, yes. So the first one that we have here is from Ujwal Raj. My daughter Manashri is genetically affected with cerebellar ataxia. She is not able to hold her head, sit, or stand or anything. She has a type of hypotonia with very flexible body. What kind of approach is in place for these kinds of children?
Again, uh, we do see the child, and we usually give the child, if it's possible, respiratory program. We change the diet in the most natural and organic food you can find, and we do have programs to make the child move. And if the child can move because has hypotonia or flaccidity of the muscles and joints, and we do have these kids a lot. We create environment where they can start to pull their head up, as not immediately, but with time, because we make them move naturally on inclined floors, and and slowly, like a baby. Baby is floppy and doesn't move and doesn't control their heads, and so on. But we create that kind of environment, so slowly the child develops this ability to hold their heads and move down. And and we do have the one of the best program that is patterning, and that will give the child what it feels to move coordinately on a flat surface.
Yeah.
So all these programs, we do have them, and believe me, it is incredibly rewarding to
Mhm.
see how these children move from an inclined floor to the flat floor, and develop the ability to move independently.
Yeah.
So yes.
Ujwal, I'm curious to know where in the world you are, if you want to share that with us, because that would help if you have considered perhaps coming for an appointment. It doesn't have to be in person. I mean, obviously, we love in-person appointments. They are the ideal, but we have a very effective remote appointments. So if traveling is difficult, or if you're in an area that's far away from anywhere that we typically go, we could certainly see you remotely, evaluate Manushree, and then design a custom program for
For
her.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, so that you know that everything is being covered for her development. I'm also curious to know if you have seen any of our Instagram videos from Oakley. Oakley's mom, Daryl, does wonderful videos. She was on Start the Week with Spencer a few weeks ago, and spoke with him about their program and the improvements they've seen. But Oakley is a very floppy guy.
I did the cognitive program for Oakley. This in Italy. They came and they got my program, my reading program, and he made such a fantastic steps. He was blind, and now he studying a reading program. So it is. It's as I said, it's one of the most incredibly, you know, thing that you can witness, and so that is yes. And Oakley uh, is a microcephalic child, and it is incredibly intelligent. Um, so anyway, and besides that, he had so many physiological challenges. Um, cannot yet still swallow water or liquids. So, I mean, this is one of them. And but believe me, he made fantastic progress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when I say, he is a very he's a very floppy little guy. I mean, he has hypotonia issues, but because of all of the work that his parents are doing, he is becoming stronger and stronger. He holds his head up for much
I
longer
see.
now. He has a lot more head control. He can sit, I mean, in the chair. I've seen him sit. I don't know that he's sitting independently yet. He's moving regularly on the crawling track at the incline floor. He's you know he's getting to be mobile on his own. He can
Mhm.
control his limbs, and just I'm just thinking of your daughter not being able to hold her head or sit or any of these things. Oakley was exactly
The
that same
same.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
could not do any of those things on his own, and now is beginning to do those things on his own and knows it. Is very proud of himself. He's fantastic. So
He
that's
communicates. He
mhm, yep,
communicates with the choice board. It's one of the techniques that we have, and it is incredible. And you don't let anybody to tell you that your child is not intelligent, because they are amazingly intelligent,
yes,
all of them.
yes,
So
yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Don't let anybody exactly right. And all of you, whoever's listening right now, don't let anybody try. In your heart that your child has that potential to improve. Don't let anybody try to talk you out of it or say, "Well, you're not seeing reality." No, you see reality clearer than if you're mother, you definitely see reality clearer than anybody, right? We have
exactly.
we have no choice. We only see reality. So, yeah, just hold fast to that and continue.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Any
I have
other?
another question. This is from Tanya.
Hmm.
Tanya would like to know how to teach an 11-year-old to read who is having a hard time blending. I'm assuming she means blending sound,
Socially?
maybe, or I don't know that this is the wording of the question. I'm wondering if she means, because I know in what's the word, like phonetics, they do that like blending
Hmm.
teaching. She's an 11-year-old who's having trouble reading. It really,
Reading,
regardless of
and
what the
believe
issue.
me, believe me, our method of teaching children to read, I why this is happening, but I had in Italy an Italian girl, 11 years old, that she has no problem in speak. Well, she doesn't speak at age level, but her language is pretty good. um, she and she communicates with her language. She walks and runs, and so no problem physically, and mobility wise, no problem. But she struggled to read. She reads barely at 6 years old level, and they tried to teach her syllable reading. So she may read two-syllable words, but no more than that. And during the evaluation, we showed her longer words and let her choose, between them. And after 2 or 3 days, I show her the same words, and she immediately said, giraffe, giraffe. I mean, I didn't even, and that is a long word, and she recognized it. She read it. So, and never happened to read such a long word immediately. So this is telling you we can teach 11-year-olds read. Definitely, we can do that, and is even a lot of fun doing that. So yes, we can do that. We have a program that is perfect for um, for her or him. It's a girl,
I
right?
think daughter. Yeah, I think she said daughter.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, definitely we can do that.
So yeah, so then Tanya, I know I had sent you an email just telling you that we would be answering your question today. I don't know where in the world you are, but we can help you regardless of where you are. And yeah, it's we we have some kids who join our program who, you know, to all the outside appearances, everything is normal, and but they're struggling with reading, and reading is the one thing that's giving them and reading is the one thing. I mean, when it comes right down to it, if you struggle with reading, it's
You
really
struggle.
hard. Yeah, you
You
can't
struggle
you can't
because
do
you struggle
anything.
in school. You struggle for work.
Yeah,
You struggle for driving. You
yeah,
struggle for traveling because you can't read the signs.
yeah,
You can't read anything.
yeah.
So believe me, um, we can fix that.
Yeah. Reading is a neurological function. It's not an academic
Ex-
subject.
Exactly. And it's visual and not verbal. It's just at eye level. And of course, auditory, but it's a visual function, neurological function. So anybody can learn to read unless they're blind, but not cortical blind. They have to have some kind of dysfunction in the orbit, in the eye. And that we cannot help. But anything else, yes. So,
I'm reminded sometimes of when Glenn Doman used to lecture, um, in his introduction to parents when they first came to hear him, tell them what he had to teach. Um, he said, "I imagine myself sitting where you are and hearing me making these claims, that we can help blind children to see and paralyzed or immobile children to walk." He said, and I imagine that you must be thinking, could this really be true? And he says, well, it actually isn't true. We teach parents how to teach. That
exactly.
was always
We
his
don't
joke.
do that
Yeah.
to the child. We teach the parents
Yeah.
how to do it. And believe me, there is no better people that can help their child but the parents. So, yeah, definitely,
Exactly right.
definitely. So, yeah.
So
So,
again, anybody who has questions, I'm a little to be perfectly honest, everyone, I'm a little concerned I may be missing questions because I see what comes up in uh, the chat that I have access to, but I know sometimes when I am online with Spencer, he will be mentioning questions that I don't actually see somehow. I'm going to take a quick look at our Instagram to see
mhm.
if I see any here. Um, I do want to mention that we are scheduling appointments. We're scheduling appointments all the time. But for any families who are considering coming to Philadelphia, we are scheduling out like July, August, September now. So if that's something you're thinking about, please let us know. Get in touch with me, send a direct message to Instagram, or you can email me. It's info@domaninternational.org, but I don't know how to type that in. Again,
Let
Spencer
me
always does that.
try.
Can you do
Chat. Let
it?
me try.
Okay.
Maybe I can, maybe I cannot not
Okay.
chat, but there is no way that
Yeah, I
no,
don't think we can broadcast it. Spencer has a way of
no.
putting it up on the display, which is very good.
What we can
Um,
do is to put it in the Instagram right after we've
yes,
done. We can
that's
do
a very good
that.
idea. Okay, that sounds great. We'll do that. But yeah, you can always send us a direct message through Instagram or a direct message through
I
Facebook.
found it.
You
Just
did.
hold on. Repeat that. It's
Info.
info.
Mhm.
Info at
domaninternational.org.
Doman. No, just hold on. Doman International. Info domaninternational.org. This is. Did
Oh,
it
okay. So
go?
it's in the comments. It's in the comments.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
Spencer has it so that he can put it like right below my name, so that it's
Ah,
on the screen. It's okay though, regardless. Please send direct messages. I see all of them. I will answer you, and we can, get you scheduled for upcoming appointments, because we definitely want that to, we want you to have a spot if you're considering it. Um, I also wanted to mention before we ended, I think Susanna's video cut out, but I know she can hear me. I just reread for the first time in many, many years a very, very old book. um, this book, oh dear, well, there we go. A Boy Called Hopeless by MJ. So it's not by MJ. It's written in the voice of a young girl who is the older sister of a child with special needs, a boy. And the actual author, I can't make it, I have it on the, anyway, I'll show you later. The actual author's name is David Melton. And Mr. Melton to came to Glendoman late 60s, I want to say, was when they were introduced. Mr. Melton had a son named Todd who had a brain injury, um, a developmental delay, and they came to work with Glendoman. Todd did tremendously well and improved in every area and was able to be independent. And I think last I heard, had I mean he's older now. Obviously, he was born. He's like my not quite my parents' age, but close to it. So Todd was on the program, and this Mr. Melton was an author, and he wrote a number of books. He wrote a book called Todd, which was specifically about his family's experience. But this book, A Boy Called Hopeless, he wrote as if it had been written by the sister, and it's clearly based on the family's experience, and a lot of it isn't anywhere near the same as the way we do things now. You can imagine, after 40 some years, that things may have somewhat changed, and certainly refined and all of that. But I thought it was really interesting from a historical perspective, and also the voice of the sister. For those of you who have more than one child, and maybe one of them is struggling, but you have, there are siblings, obviously, and so you're thinking about whether or not this program could be good for your family. The families of our kids are, obviously parents are involved, but our staff really do work to find ways to involve the other kids so that they're not left behind in any way. They're a part of it from any age. So that's one of the things that our staff are really adept at is um, including everyone in the family so that it is a family program. Everyone's benefiting, everyone's on the same team. And A Boy Called Hopeless really reminded me of that feeling and that sentiment, because the whole book is about that it's her perspective saying this is what we did for my little brother. um, but it's I think that's one of the features of the Doman method program that we talk about, that's different from maybe other types of therapies, because I talk to families all the time. Of course, that's my job. And parents often express that they're concerned that they spend so much time running around to therapy appointments and things, which of course they will do, and they'll continue to do whatever they need to do for their kid, because I mean, we're parents, we do whatever we need to do. But those kinds of constant rounds of therapy appointments and things can certainly take a toll on the family, and just trying to keep everyone together, whether it's, oh, I have to keep my other kids occupied somehow, I can't really pay attention to them because we have to go to another therapy appointment, or whatever it is. That I think it's very important to know that our team will work with you to not just customize the program and the plan for your child who is having issues, but also for your whole family, so that you can all work together, so everybody is on the same page. And our staff are here to troubleshoot. Things come up, oh, two of our kids were sick, the other one wasn't. It's been a week and a half of bedlam in our house. Somebody was getting married, to help you to navigate those sorts of things, real life, because it, all of our kids are having a real life, and we are too, and we have to adapt everything that we do so that everyone's lives are taken into account. But that's something to consider when you're looking at the Doman method, because if you watch these videos, I think you can sometimes get the idea that, wow, there's a lot to do here, and these families seem to be doing this program all the time. That's, for some it's true, for some it's not. It's perception, but I think more it's their whole lives are sort of influenced by what they've learned about the Doman method, what they've learned to help their child, but they also are living real lives. And um, we're here to help you to adapt what the approaches that we know will be helpful for your child with special needs. We know that the best way to make it successful is to help you adapt it to your whole life, because it's a marathon, it is not a race, and we want to make sure that things are sustainable so that everybody can keep going, and joyously, not just bare knuckling it, or white knuckling it. That's the word. Just barely hanging in there, and hoping we can push through. That's also not a recipe for long-term success. So we are here for you to help you find the answers, and then to help you find the balance so that you can do what's needed for your kid, and have the whole family involved. And then, hopefully in a couple of years, you can look back and say, wow, we've accomplished so much. He or she has improved so much, and our whole family is closer because of it. That's our goal, and it's a goal that we've seen realized again and again for many, 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 many families over these 70 years. So, please keep that in mind when you reach out to, or if you're considering it. Try not to be intimidated by, all of the videos that you might see with our different families, thinking, oh, I could never do that, or, oh, look how professional they are, they clearly have it all together. Believe me, the internet, looks glossier, as we know, And all of our families and all of our kids are real families and real kids, with real lives. And yeah, we're just, you know, we're all in this together. So for start the week with Spencer, without Spencer, I'd like to thank everyone very, very much for joining us. If you have any questions, if you posted questions that I clearly did not see, because I only had the two today, please send us a direct message with that question, because then I can get the answers. We can answer them next week and start the week with Spencer. We'll put them top of the list. You can always join us again, of course, but if you can't make it live, you know, we always make the recordings available afterwards, so you can catch up with us and with the answers to your questions. But I really appreciate everybody being here this week. Thank you so, so much. And we will see you again next week. Take care.